just never experienced something that's just gone so well so quick, and I feel like I'm constantly bracing myself
for something.
That isn't happening. You've literally given me no reason whatsoever not to trust you. None.
I didn't choose. I was invited to go
Am
over.
I surprised with who was sent back to the villa? No, not really, because at the end of the day, the guys didn't seem interested in Helena. So I'm not surprised that she's gone back. Sadly for her, coming back on the show might not have been a good idea, especially given how things came across in her season. And then Scott and Leanne for me are giving someone in production indigestion, because every time they think they're about to sort of combust, they don't. I think Scott was brought back on the assumption that he and Leanne were going to fall out because of what happened, with the conversation between Sammy and Leanne. That didn't work out. And, even the kiss from Cher didn't seem to break them apart. So I am here for it. And then Millie, for me, this is the first time Millie has really liked someone. With Charlie, she was playing stupid games. It seems she really likes Zach. What she likes about Zach, we're yet to see, so I can't wait for that. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by to go, Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars, Season 3, Episode 15. So we have the islanders in the villa. They're just sulking. They have nothing else to do. Those people are so boring. They might as well just have dumped them and then just, left Leanne for Scott and everybody else go home, and then bring whoever's in love in Villa USA, because they don't bring anything to the table, and this is their problem. Anyway, so back in the Villa USA, you have them still playing a game. Cher is asked to perform a favorite sex position with Islander you think you want to share a bed with tonight. She chose Jack. Am I surprised? No. Kyra, snog the Islander who you think needs to switch their couple. She kissed Tommy. It makes sense because Tommy was in a couple with Helena. It was a friendship couple. Kyra then got snog the Islander you think fancies you the most. She kissed Jack. I think she was just looking for someone to bite. Yemen then was asked, snog the islander you felt the most sexual tension with so far, and he kissed Whitney. Surprised by that? No, I'm not. I'm not. Whitney has seemed interested from the moment she saw him. Scott was snog the islander with the nicest lips. He's kissed Cher. Cher is the one who kissed him and said, he was in a one-sided couple. So I was sort of eyeing that is he interested, or is he just doing it just to stay on the side of caution? I didn't get that. Zach was snog the islander you think is going to be naughty in the villa. He kissed Belle. It didn't make sense because Millie expected him to kiss her, so it didn't make sense. And for me, I was thinking, are they trying to put ideas in Belle's head for her to move on from Scott? I think so. Imani got snog the islander you most likely want to explore things with. She kissed Jack. I think everybody knows Jack is single. He's the single out of the guys. And so they are hoping to turn his head either way, because at the end of the day, they all want to come to the main villa. And Yemen got snog the islander you shouldn't. He kissed Belle and he said, she can do better than Sean, and she needs someone who gives man vibes. Do I agree with that? Yes. Sean is still very immature and is still very playful, and so she needs someone who's better than that, and I don't think Sean is it for her. Anyway, you then have them sort of split in groups, the UK girls on their own, the UK boys on their own, and the US girls and boys separately as well. In the kitchen, you had the girls having a chat, and Belle was saying, maybe I should be more open. I need to explore more connections. It's like, girl, we've been telling you this from day one. I personally feel like she's got a type. I think she likes to talk to people that look like Yemen or Shaq, but I don't think she wants to be physically intimate. Whether she's worried that she might go further than she expects to on TV or whatever about it, because she cut off the kiss with Yemen, and I was like, oh, okay. Is she doing it out of respect for Whitney, or is she doing it because she really doesn't like him? And so I can't wait to see what happens there. And while the UK boys were chatting, you had Scott say, I don't like what Yemen said about Sean because he doesn't know Sean, so he can't say he's not a manly man. And it's like, oh my God, the person that was biting at Sean is the one that's defending him. One thing about Scott is he's going to always try and stand up for the truth. So if he thinks this is the truth, that's amazing for him. So after that, you had the islanders receive a text message. You had Kyra receive a message. Can all islanders gather around the fire pit? They gathered around the fire pit, and then the U.S. people were told you need to choose three people, so three boys and two girls out of the UK lot. And so they split into groups, boys on their own, girls on their own, and they got to pick. And I loved the dialogue that took place before making the decision because the guys asked each other, who wants to get to know Helena? They all knew that they wanted to know the other girls, but no one was open to sort of exploring with Helena, which is really sad though, that she is the single one, but no one wants to get to know her. And so it's like, is it because of the edits, or is it just she's not that great at communication? The girls were saying we need to choose people that we know we have a chance of turning their heads. If we know we're not going to be able to turn someone's head, let's not pick them. Anyway, they then were asked to decide. You had, Zach stand up and say the guys decided to dump Helena so she could go back to the villa. Surprised with that? No. The girls then chose to dump Scott. I think with Scott, it was a thing whereby, because Cher said she had more of a connection with Scott, but I think Amani must have told us he's in a very good connection with, Leanne. Are you sure you want to steal him from Leanne? And I think that dialogue is why they chose to sort of dump him. Anyway, so once they had made their decision, you then had Scott and Helena go back to the main villa. In the main villa, everyone was sulking because obviously they don't have personality without someone sort of beside them, and it's really sad. So Helena and Scott walked in, and everyone was surprised to see Helena walk in because they know she's the single girl, so they couldn't understand why the guys there didn't pick her. You had Lucinda wanting to know who's the American girls that are there, and it's like you're not going to know every single person, and I love that they didn't entertain that. Anyway, you then had Helena and Scott sort of debrief them, and he was saying Tommy looks like he's open to exploring a connection. Whitney seems like she's open as well to exploring a connection. And then he sort of said, one of the guys said something about Sean, but I need to get the words right. And Helena was the one who spoke up. So I'm happy that he didn't say anything because then it might have been taken the wrong way. After that, he then spoke to Curtis and told Curtis that Curtis, unfortunately, Millie is gone. Millie is gone. There's a guy that's her type, and she really seems interested in getting to know him. So there is a strong possibility that he's gone. Am I surprised? No. I think it was important for him to tell Curtis the truth. Maybe he should have pulled him aside and told him, not in front of everyone. But at the end of the day, Curtis and Millie were still new, and it's not like they were exploring something that had been ongoing for a very long time. You had the two couples sat next to each other. So you had Whitney and Yemen, and you had Belle and Carrington. Carrington, for me, I think is a great guy. Sadly, he's with the girls that I don't think that find him that exciting or entertaining. Do I think Carrington is better than Sean? 100%. Anyone is better than Sean, in my opinion. Anyone is better than Sean. So they were just having chats about their connections and seeing how they are. I feel like there's sort of a bond there, which really makes me sad for Connor because Connor, I think, is now smitten with Whitney and really wants things to work with Whitney. But sadly, I think Whitney is not finding that she asked for in her connection with Connor, and this is why she's more interested in the mystery or something new that comes with being with, Yemen. Millie is a gone girl. Millie is a gone girl because of the fact that they discussed the kiss in the game, and then they were sort of discussing about whether they were going to share the bed and whether she was going to kiss him. And as soon as she kissed him in front of everyone, she then said, I understand now that there was something missing between me and Curtis. This is why I didn't want him cuddling me in bed or kissing me, because with you, I'm not even ashamed that everyone is watching. I'm happy to do what I want to do. And it's like, this girl has a game plan. Production want her to win, and they're going to give her what she wants in order for her to win. I really want Leanne and Scott to win. I really do, because I think they have the better connection. I think with Millie and Zach, it's more of a sexual thing. You then had Tommy sit down for a chat with Kyra. Tommy is smitten. He really is smitten. He's trying to remember Lucinda because he even said to Helena, tell Lucinda that I said I'm really thinking of her. But I think somehow Kyra is turning his head because you could see he was smitten. He was excited. They spoke about sharing a bed, and he said he was open to sharing a bed. And then they shared a kiss. And it's like, Tommy is gone. Yes, in his mind, he knows he's got Lucinda at the villa, but I think in the moment, he feels something stronger with Kyra. That's why he's continuing to explore that. I a little bit, a 1% felt sorry for Helena when she was talking to Sammy and saying that, I am single, but I'm the one who's back. It doesn't make sense to me that why am I back if I'm single? Why is it no one was open to getting to know me? And it's like, there's something about you that you should have gone to therapy for and not come on the show for soon after being on the show. You should have gone to therapy, done the work, and then come back. Even the guys in the bedroom were talking about it, that we don't understand how Helena is back when she's single, and it's like maybe the way she carries herself, or maybe the way she communicates with the guys, lets them know that she's just a good time girl, as she's been labeled, and she's not there for for a long term relationship. Lucinda was moaning begrudgingly about the fact that Tommy was there and he was open to exploring with other people. It's like, Lucinda, this is not your guy. This is not your guy. So the Islanders then got into bad. And I think this is what production were expecting. They were expecting some sort of explosion or commotion between Leanne and Scott. And sadly, they didn't give them that, because they had a chat about Jim coming back and the fact that, he had kissed someone in the game. Scott has got strong feelings for Leanne. There's no two ways about it. Even Kieran has hinted towards that. And so I think Leanne not getting upset is making him question that, is he the one who's more into this thing than Leanne is? Because remember, in the beer pong game, he was told that you're in a one-sided relationship. And I think this is now making him start to question his feelings for her. And I think with Leanne, she's hiding how she feels because she doesn't want him to break her heart. Anyway, all the Islanders went to bed. Some people were busy, some people were not, but hey, it is what it is. In the morning, you had a mini debrief of Scott, Lucinda, and Connor by the fire pit. And so you had, him saying, Tommy's open to exploring. We all know Tommy's open to exploring. He is open to exploring a connection with anyone that is open to exploring with him. Yes, he likes Lucinda and is excited that a girl like Lucinda likes him, but I think he's going to continue to explore. What would I recommend? I think Tommy should really pay attention to Kyra, because at the end of the day, Lucinda's done this multiple times. She's just playing the game. She really is. She is moving from person to person, because you even saw it with the way she tried to move onto Sean. So she is looking for a safety net, so I'm not surprised. You had Scott try to sort of be delicate with how he delivered the news about Whitney, because Whitney is his friend. He wants to protect her, but he also knows that she's not feeling Connor as much as he is feeling her. So you have Tommy and Kyra having a chat, because the night before, the US girls were asking which bed am I jumping into, which bed. Tommy kept quiet, so Kyra ended up spending a night with Jack. And so she felt some type of way about the fact that he didn't ask her to share a bed. So they were sort of having dialogue, sort of trying to twist around it and be very sort of delicate with it, and not sort of hurt each other's feelings. And so she was saying to Tommy, I expected you to ask me to join, to share a bed with me and with you. And he said, well, I was waiting for you to jump. And so they agreed on the fact that they would be sharing the bed from that night onwards. But they also shared another kiss. And it's like Tommy is like a kid in a candy store. He's really excited. He's giddy. He's happy. He's really making the most of this experience. And I want him to bring, Kyra back. Imani, her taste in men is a bit questionable for me, because I don't see what she sees in Jack outside of an opportunity. I think she thinks since Jack was open to exploring with Whitney, then he's going to be open to exploring with her. For him, he's a kid in a candy store. The way he pounced on her and they shared a kiss and she had to sort of push him back, do I think is a great connection? It is okay to bring her back to the villa, because I think Imani needs to come back to the main villa, because she is the main star out of that crew that came from the US. So she will most probably come back, because he is not in a couple. But do I see something long term? I don't think so. I think it's just an opportunity for her to open the door and come back to the villa and see what's in the main villa, and then she'll take it from there. You then had this chat between Leanne and Scott, and I really loved it, because I think it is something that they needed to have. And so it was nice how they communicated, because Leanne was open and said, I am questioning the fact that, there doesn't seem to be any problems. Yesterday you came, we hugged at the fire pit, and it was anticlimactic, because for her, she expected him to stay. So the fact that he came back and nothing had happened, she couldn't understand it, and now he's here. So I love that they had dialogue about what was happening, and she was able to say to him, I didn't like your reaction to my being in the bottom three. And Scott had to acknowledge that, I made your bottom three thing about me when it should have been about you. I should have been more focused. And how he sort of humbles himself when he speaks to Leanne is the cutest ever. Because with everybody else, he's a wild dog. And then with Leanne, he's like a little puppy. He's just there. He's just waiting for his tummy to be stroked so that he can be happy. I love them as a couple. He did say, Leanne then brought up the situation with Belle and said, she had been told by Sammy that he had said something behind her back and she wasn't happy about it. He explained that, I never meant to hurt your feelings. I should have been more sensitive about how I spoke about it. They both agree that it wouldn't have made sense for him to leave just because they've been in a couple for 2 weeks. So it would never have made sense for him to leave just because she was being dumped. Had they been together, I think in the final week, couple of weeks, if she is dumped, then he will pack his bags happily and skip away with her and hope for the best. Carrington and Belle, they make a cute couple, but I feel like Carrington maybe should be with someone like Sammy. I think Belle needs a manly man, as was said by Yemen, even though people criticize him. But I don't think Carrington is it for her. I think Carrington might come back to the villa because he is friends with Scott. But I don't think he is the best option for Belle. And I think he didn't want to explode Helena. This is why he chose the lesser of two evils. Kieran is interesting because he was asked by Cher that he asked Cher, who else are you open to getting to know? And then suddenly they had this dialogue, where they were having chats about, their banter, what he wants in a girl, someone with banter, a good communicator. And he was saying, I don't need reassurance because if I need that reassurance from you, then something is not right with the connection and it's time for me to go. Do I think Cher is a better option for him compared to Sammy? Yes. She has more personality, more characters. Yes, they're both stunning girls, but I think Cher brings out more out of Kieran than Sammy would. I think Sammy is like watching paint dry, whereas Cher seems to be more of a firecracker. So I hope he really considers her. Maybe the only reason he might not consider her is because he's already been in that situation with Lucinda and doesn't want to be labeled as, an F-boy. So he's going to stop that. Lucinda is the smartest thing ever. She knows Sean and Tommy are friends. So for her to try and pivot from Tommy to Sean doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense because Sean could pick up on it, that they were sort of implying to one another that if our partners are taken by somebody else, then we will have to couple up and we will have to pretend to be it because we can't go home. Oh, that's the way that conversation was coming across to someone like me. Kyra going for a chat with Zach and kissing Zach. Kyra is looking for someone to bring her back to the villa. So she's going to use whatever she has on her to woo the guy and make sure that guy picks her. Because it doesn't make sense why she felt the need to have, that conversation and then the kiss with Jack. That didn't make sense. Anyway, the islanders got ready for the night. Everyone was nervous about what was going to happen. They all came out, they picked up their drinks. And then you had a conversation between Sean and Leanne. And I didn't get it because I didn't know they were that friendly to sit down and actually have a chat about their connections. So they were having a conversation about their connections. And you had Leanne sort of saying, the problem with Scott and I is things are going way too good and I've never had things go so great. And so I'm questioning what's going on. And I expected us to have a challenge and we didn't have a challenge with the Villa USA. So I'm sort of questioning where we stand. So I appreciate Sean for saying, one thing about Scott is he's always stood on Leanne. He's always stood on Leanne and he's always maintained that Leanne was it for him. So the idea that she is questioning it, I get why she's questioning it, and I also get why he is questioning that. You then had the US boys with their partners, the US girlies, and it was really cute to watch how giddy and excited they were about one another, how they were flirting, and so I can really see them in couples. I really can. I think Carrington just needs to sort of cool it down a bit and stop, making the faces and stuff, but otherwise, I think they are a good couple. Scott and Leanne sat down again for round 3 of this chat. I think production kept expecting them to explode and they must have kept pushing them to have conversations. And so they were talking about their connection, the fact that they haven't had any challenges, the fact that they are going very smoothly and very well. And it's like, yeah, it is what it is. For Scott, he said, had they chosen me, yes, I would have been open to exploring, but I wasn't going to force anything that's not there. The girls are stunning, don't get me wrong, but anyway, none of them compares to you. And it's like, this man is a grown man. I don't know what else she wants from him. I don't know what sort of guys she's dated before that she's always questioning about him, because Scott seems to be all about Leanne. So I love them as a couple. You had the villa girls sit by the fire pit without Leanne, sort of talking about their connections. Lucinda is nervous. She is nervous that, at the end of the day, Tommy is going to come back with somebody else. And it's like, girl, your connection wasn't that serious. Back in Villa, you're saying Tommy is busy with Kyra. He is cuddling her. He's making out with her. And it's like, Tommy, this is what he wants in a connection. This is what he wants. Someone who shows him as much interest as he shows them. And Lucinda, sorry, it was more performance than anything else. Yemen and Whitney having the conversation and sort of flirting and kissing. I can see it, but I can't see it. I don't think they're good for one another. I don't think Whitney's person has yet to come into the main villa. I think she still needs to sit there and wait and allow things to go as they should be. And if Yemen is it, amazing. If he's not, it is what it is. You then had Scott sit down for a chat with Connor and Curtis. And he was telling them the truth, that your girls are exploring connections. You are sitting here and whinging and whining and sort of saying, oh, me, why me? But the girls are open to connections. And Curtis, sadly, I don't understand why he keeps being upset. I'm happy that he's prepared and he knows that Millie will definitely come with someone. But at the end of the day, their connection wasn't that strong. It wasn't that deep. And he needs to understand that Millie is smitten. The fact that she was back sort of cuddling and sort of kissing and hugging with Zach in front of everyone tells you that she is gone. She really is gone and she doesn't care anymore about Curtis. So I can't wait to see what happens. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 14. Bye everyone.